Now I would like to cover system administration in DonorQuest. To access system administration, you will use the menu options here at the top. These words going across the top of the toolbar here. And the first thing I'd like to show you is the event log in DonorQuest. So to access that, we click on the word File here, go down to Open, and then Event Log. And here we have a window which shows us all the various events that have happened within the program. It tracks everything. And you can sort it by date as it is here. You can also sort it by username if you want to see what one particular user in the database is doing. You can also sort it by description if you'd like to see when donors were deleted, for example. You can also sort it by donor ID number if you want to see all the events that have taken place with one particular donor. Okay, moving on to donor. Here we can access batch donation entry. When you begin a batch, you'll be assigned a batch number, and you should take note of this. The batch entry form is just a simplified donation or data entry form, so you can add a large number of donations quickly. Here at the top you have your donors' names. You can find them just as you can in the main database, and then add new donations. Statistics, here you can see the various campaigns or stimulus codes you have going on in DonorQuest and track to see how they're doing. To look at a particular campaign or stimulus code, you simply highlight the one in question, click display, and this will show you some great information about that campaign. It will show you the first, latest, and largest gift for the campaign and who those donors were that made those donations. We'll also show you a count of the number of donations that have come in for the campaign, and also a percent to goal, so you can see how the campaign is doing. Restore deleted donor. Here, if you've deleted a donor by mistake, you can restore them by simply typing in their ID number. If you don't know that ID number off the top of your head, you can use the event log to go back and find that information out. Okay, moving on to the word user. Here is where you will set up your user accounts in DonorQuest. To add a new user, I simply click the Add button here on the left, type in the new user's name, and you can see there's a checkbox here for Use Password Protection. You should have this checkbox checked for all your users, and in that way you can really have accountability in the database. So each of your users will have their own username, their own password, so there's no sharing of accounts. That way you can really use the event log effectively to go back and see if mistakes were made, who made those mistakes, and when. Okay, once you have your user in the database, or any of your users actually, you can simply adjust their rights if you want to. So each user can have their own set of user rights within the database. For example, if you have a volunteer come in and perhaps you're not very comfortable with that volunteer doing everything possible in the database, you can simply disable some of the more advanced rights in the program. You'll see these rights are listed in a manner so that the least harmful rights are up here at the top. And as we go down here through the list, you'll see we get into editing and then deleting, and then finally into some of the system administration things that we're covering right now. And the very last right here, add and delete user accounts, only a handful of people within an organization should really have this right, because this right obviously gives you access to all of the user accounts. You can delete other user accounts, add new ones. So only the administrators for the database should have this right. And to disable a right, you simply highlight the right in question and click the Disable button here. Now, moving on to configure. Donor and donation default field values. Here you can have certain fields automatically filled out for your data entry person whenever they're adding new donors and new donations. So for example, if 99% of your donors are from one state, you can have that automatically filled out for your data entry people when they begin adding new donors, so they won't have to waste time going over that field. Next we have internet settings. Here you can set the email software that you plan to use with DonorQuest. Fiscal year settings. Here you can set the starting month of your fiscal year for your organization. And edit print a code table. Here you can see a list of all of those fields in DonorQuest with that drop down arrow. So if you want to go in and make changes, you simply highlight the field in question, click open, and here you can see a list of all of the current valid choices for that field. You can add new ones, edit old ones, and delete old ones as well. Okay, moving on to system. Run local backup. DonorQuest will prompt you on a weekly basis to run a local backup. You should always answer yes, but you can also trigger the backup manually by clicking the word system here and then run local backup. We do also recommend that you run a backup outside of DonorQuest as well, so make a tape or CD backup of the database in case the server or computer were to fail. So that covers system administration for this portion of the video demonstration.